Alright, hello and welcome. So today is going to be a new player's guide to modding. Modding is a crucial system to Warframe, and I feel like it is probably one of the most daunting systems to any given new player, where you see a menu that looks like this, and you get a little overwhelmed, which is perfectly understandable. With that, I'm going to be going over this in a way that is hopefully very, very understandable for all of you, and can get you up to speed on what you need to be doing, what you need to be focusing on, and how to get stronger. So first and foremost, let's just take a look at a mod. For example, Pressure Point. Pressure Point is one of the staple mods of the game that you're going to use for the entirety of it. This goes in every single melee weapon in the game, and there's a primed version of it that is even better. With that, let's look at the attributes of Pressure Point. In the top right of this card, you're going to see its cost, which is 4, and its polarity. Those two things are going to come in a bit later when we talk about actually putting mods on weapons, but for now, just take note that they exist. On the bottom of the card, you're going to see its name, Pressure Point in this case, and you're going to see its effect, which is plus 20% melee damage. And below that, what this mod is for, which in this case is all melee weapons in the game. And right below that, a feature that goes unnoticed a lot of the time is the pips. So those 5 empty pips represent the maximum potential level of the mod card. So to level up a mod, take it, select just the one, and then use Fusion on it. Once you're in this menu, you can see these pips fill up whenever you plus its rank up. The effects of this are going to be taking its percent melee damage from 20 to 120%, and its drain, or its cost, is going from 4 to 9. This is an incredibly good deal, and there are only a very, very select few mods in the game where you don't want to just completely max them out. With that, though, the cost for this is going to be 310 endo and about 15k credits. If you're a newer player and you really want me to put out a guide on how to get endo for newer players and how to get credits for newer players, please let me know in the comments. I would be happy to do so. I just don't know how needed such a thing would be. With that, you can cancel this and not lock it in, so you can just see what mods kind of turn into as they go farther. With that, there is one other important attribute of mods that is going to determine what it takes to level them up, and that is their rarity. So rarity-wise, we have bronze mods, silver mods, there are also gold mods, and primed mods. Those basically go down the line of common, uncommon, rare, and very rare, let's call it, but it basically means they come from Katir, who is the void trader that shows up every other week. With that, the cost is also determined by the amount of ranks available on a mod. So if we take something like this redirection, for example, which is a common rank 10 mod, and we try and max this out, you can see that the cost escalates the more ranks you add to it, costing 10,000 and 500,000 credits, or 10,000 endo and 500,000 credits. And you can see that at rank 6, let's say, the cost is a lot more manageable. If you're a newer player, don't go for maxing out rank 10 mods right away. I would very much advise you to stop at rank 6 on all rank 10 mods until you're more experienced with the game and until you can get into those higher level farms where you can get a lot of endo all at once. With that, though, you can see just the rarity difference between a common and an uncommon is going to escalate this cost greatly, even though both mods are rank 10. This costs 20k instead of 10k and 1,000,000 credits instead of 500,000. So definitely going to want to pay attention to that, though for mods that are not ranked 10, usually the cost difference is not going to be very, very noticeable. So now, let's go into actually modding a weapon. So, modding a Warframe is a little bit more complicated and harder to get used to. I'd probably be able to make an entire video just on that, so we're going to focus on weapons for today because they're kind of the main thing that all Warframes are going to need. They all need weapons, so modding these well is going to be very important. With that, let's get back to mod cost. As we know from just what we went over, mod cost escalates as the mod increases in rank, as you can see from this rank 6 Serration costing 10 and my maxed out rank 10 Serration costing 14. With this, if you insert it into your weapon, my Vectus is rank 30 and it has an Orokin Catalyst installed, which is doubling the potential mod capacity, which gives it a possible total of 60 capacity. And whenever I install Serration, it costs 14, so now I only have 46 left. With that, though, this Serration has a V polarity, and this slot has a V polarity. So if you match those, the mod will cost half, which, as a new player especially, and the Vectus is a very new player-friendly weapon, if you have polarities in your weapons, it's going to be much, much easier to mod them, and by proxy of that, definitely leveling them becomes easier because you can put more powerful mods in them sooner. With that, if you mismatch, and say you put an ammo drum in here, which normally costs 7, if you mismatch it, it'll cost 9, because mismatched polarities will cost you 25% extra, so you definitely want to avoid that. With that, let's go over some basic rules that you can apply to your modding that are going to help you in the long run. So, the most basic of all rules to apply to all weapons in the game is that you want to put on your plus damage mod. For rifles, that's Serration. For sidearms, that's Hornet Strike. For melee weapons, that's Pressure Point. And for shotguns, that's Point Blank. All of those mods are must-haves for each of those weapon categories. And if you don't have one, trust me, veteran players, we have literally hundreds of them lying around. So please do not hesitate to ask some experienced player. Maybe like join my Discord. Plenty of those guys hanging out in there that just have hundreds of these things just chilling. If you miss Serration, if you're getting really unlucky and you're not getting that uncommon mod, just ask for one. Everybody in the community is super nice. With that, though, besides your plus damage mods, you're going to want to add any mod in the game that has the word multi-shot on it. Multi-shot, every single mod in the game that says the word multi-shot on the card is really, really good. In this case, we have Split Chamber and Vigilante Armaments for primary mods. There are a number of them, Lethal Torrent and Barrel Diffusion for your secondary. And then for shotguns, there is an Augment for the Hex specifically, and there is also Hell's Chamber. Those mods, all phenomenal. If you put them in your weapon, it's going to be really, really hard to go wrong. That being said, you do always want to put Serration into your weapon first. And the reason for that is multi-shot, if you put Serration in, multi-shot scales with your Serration increase in damage. This is very, very important for increasing the amount of damage you can output kind of exponentially instead of like very linearly by just adding more, like if you added Heavy Caliber, for example, which is also a plus damage stat, that just adds these two pluses together instead of having like a multiplicative effect. With that, we're going to talk about the third type of mod that is always going to be good, which is elementals. So, for example, if I type in cold, I get primed cryo rounds, which is a very advanced mod that you're definitely not going to have access to, like almost certainly. Regular cryo rounds, which you're going to get very, very early, and rhyme rounds, which is a bit rarer and very good, and also increases status chance, which is going to be more important as you become more experienced in the game. So if you add this mod, you can see that I get 1,000 cold damage, which is quite good. But if I take out Split Chamber, I only get 536. And if I take out Serration, I only get 202. So you can see that the elemental damage is scaling off what you're getting from your plus damage stats and what you're getting from your multi-shot. This is very, very important as you want to add plus damage, you want to add multi-shot, and then you want to add as many elementals as you realistically can. In addition to that, if you add, say, 2 elementals, say we get cryo rounds and we get a toxin mod, or a heat mod, or an electric mod, which are the other elementals, you can add these 2 in, and then from here, what you want to do is assess whether or not your weapon is a critical damage weapon. So in this case, the Vectis, which is very new player friendly, is absolutely a crit weapon. Having 25% critical chance is very, very good. So you can just type in crit and get access to Vital Sense if you've got it around, and Point Strike. So with this, you'll see that adding Point Strike is not possible because I've hit my capacity limit. I have 7 capacity remaining. Do not hesitate to just put in like a slightly lower rank mod. Not a big deal. Like if you can't put in the absolute max thing, that's going to be just fine. It's obviously very unlikely that you're going to have a max Serration whenever you're first getting your hands on the Vectis, so like just put in like this, switch these 2 around, and get creative. Get creative to get all the mods you can into here. You want to put your like highest cost stuff on the polarity so you're getting as big of a reduction as possible so you can fit those mods in. So with this, you're getting a big plus damage boost, you're getting your multi-shot, you're getting your elementals, and you're getting your crit bonuses. All of these things multiply together to make your weapon incredibly, incredibly strong. And if you're a newer player, this is actually a build that I would highly advise you go for. Grab a Vectis, MR2, and then set out on the quest, I suppose, to get a build just like this. This build will do incredibly well for, like, let's call it the first 50 hours that you're going to spend with Warframe. With that, I hope this has been enlightening and will help you guys in your journey to get stuff. And again, as a general rule, whenever you're modding a weapon, you want damage. You want to hit harder. That is why things like Ammo Drum, for example, which is just more ammo to have, are not very good. Because these don't help you kill things faster, these just give you more ammo, which is, like, not very useful, because ammo is very plentiful and many weapons are very efficient. So, yeah, just try and keep killing things with your weapons in mind, and I'm sure you'll do fine. Hopefully this video has been enlightening. Again, if you guys want me to go over a new player guide to getting some early credits and getting some early endo, I'd be very happy to. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you tomorrow.